It's late in the evening. The house is quiet, and you're standing in the kitchen with the fridge door open, not even sure what you're looking for. Nothing is wrong. Nothing dramatic happened today. And still, there's this weight in your chest that doesn't have a clear reason. You sit down. The room is silent. And instead of feeling peaceful, it feels heavy. Why does silence sometimes feel like that? What you may be experiencing is a quiet weight that shows up when everything slows down. In this video, I want to gently look at why inner stillness can feel uncomfortable, and why that heaviness might not mean something is wrong with you. Inner stillness is when the outside noise fades, but your inside world suddenly feels louder. It's not about sadness or crisis. It's about the space that opens when distractions fall away. One common reason is that your mind isn't used to resting without a task. For many people, life moves quickly. Notifications, conversations, work deadlines, background TV, scrolling before bed. Your brain gets trained to stay occupied. When the noise disappears, there's no clear direction for your attention. So instead of relaxing, your body stays alert. It keeps scanning, as if it's waiting for the next thing to handle. That scanning can feel like pressure in your chest or a subtle tension in your shoulders. You might sit on the couch with nothing urgent to do and still feel restless, like you forgot something important. The silence isn't the problem. It's the sudden lack of something to react to. Sometimes, it comes from emotions that didn't get airtime during the day. When you're busy, you can move past small disappointments, awkward moments, or quiet worries. You answer emails. You cook dinner. You keep going. But when everything slows down, those small, unfinished feelings don't disappear. They float back up. Not in a dramatic way. More like a low hum in the background. You might be lying in bed and suddenly replay a conversation from earlier, even though it seemed fine at the time. The heaviness isn't always about the present moment. It can be about what finally has room to surface. Over time, another layer shows up when you've tied your sense of worth to productivity. If you've spent years feeling useful only when you're doing something, stillness can feel unfamiliar. When you're not answering, fixing, planning, or achieving, a quiet question can creep in. What am I, if I'm not doing? That question doesn't always show up in words. It shows up as discomfort. You might take a rare afternoon off, and instead of enjoying it, you feel slightly uneasy, like you're behind on something invisible. The silence presses in, not because it's dangerous, but because it removes the proof that you're contributing. Picture this. It's Sunday afternoon, around 3:20. The laundry is done. The dishes are clean. Your phone is face down on the coffee table. Sunlight comes through the window, and the room is still. You sit down, finally. For a few seconds, it feels calm. Then your mind starts wandering. You think about a message you haven't answered. A project due next week. Something you said yesterday that might have sounded odd. Your chest feels slightly heavy, even though the room is quiet and nothing urgent is happening. You pick up your phone, not because you want to scroll, but because the silence feels thick. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what quiet weight can look like. It's not loud or dramatic. It's just the mind looking for something to hold on to when the world stops moving. And there's something else here that isn't talked about enough. Silence removes distraction, but it also removes escape. When you're constantly moving, you don't have to sit with your own thoughts for long. In stillness, you meet them directly. That can feel vulnerable. Even if the thoughts are ordinary, facing them without background noise can make them seem bigger than they are. So what can you do when the quiet starts to feel heavy? You might begin by naming it softly. Not labeling it as something serious. Just noticing, this is that heavy silence again. Sometimes simply putting a gentle name to the experience can create a little space between you and the feeling. Instead of thinking, something is wrong with me, you might think, this is what happens when everything slows down. That shift can lower the intensity just enough. Another small approach is to give your stillness a light structure. Not a big plan. Just one simple anchor. Maybe you sit with a warm drink and focus on the warmth in your hands. Maybe you write down whatever thoughts are circling, without organizing them. The point isn't to solve anything. It's to let your mind know that stillness isn't empty. It has a place to land. For many people, that gentle focus keeps the silence from turning into a void. This doesn't mean the heaviness disappears instantly. It may still visit. But it can feel less mysterious. Less like a shadow you can't explain. Because sometimes this weight isn't a warning sign. Sometimes it's your system adjusting to a slower pace. If you've been running on noise for a long time, quiet can feel unfamiliar at first. Your body may not know how to relax without a reason. This is for people who look calm on the outside, but feel a little pressure when everything gets still. If silence has felt heavy for you, it may not mean you're broken or ungrateful for peace. It may mean your mind has been in motion for so long that stopping feels strange. Inner stillness can take practice. Not in a strict way. Just in small, gentle exposures to quiet without rushing to fill it. Over time, the weight can shift. Not because you forced it away, but because you understood it. And sometimes, understanding is enough to let you sit in a quiet room and feel just a little lighter.